Am I in? Am I in? Sorry, I had two bits. I had two bits of music playing from the live there. And the day I actually do use the correct one, I was like, that was like a bit of a
that was a proper like death stare. Look.
Yeah. And you know what? I was like, oh shit, I need to go and turn off. I need to go to this tab and turn off this music. Otherwise, I'm not going to know when the real music finishes. And I just got to it, and then it went down to one music, and I was like, I think I'm live on the other tab.
I tell you what, the recent starts to the stream on this channel have been absolutely tremendous.
I know. You wouldn't have them any other way. It means that's clear evidence that we're getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah,
tightening up, Yeah. Big up, Kristen says that the butcher has returned. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to United View. Welcome to the match preview for Wolves versus Man United. You would normally get a morning view round about now with some transfer news and stuff like that. But with it being the day before match day, and with it being that actually there is no transfer news as of now, nothing, can't make stuff up. With it being that, we thought, you know what? Let's do something a bit different in the morning. Let's just do a bit of a match preview. People on the way to work, people chilling, people relaxing at home or whatever. Let's just do one now. And obviously, we will talk a little bit about transfers in the show. But in terms of major report, thumbnail, there's all this news. There isn't. At most, we've got a little bit about Enzo Fernandez and Chelsea and Man United not talking about him. But we will talk about that. It's a Wolves Man United preview, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, the news is there is no news. That's essentially it. A lot of the big reports that you do see, like you said, about Enzo Fernandez or about whoever, it's so-and-so are in talks. I think today Fabrizio Romano said that Chelsea were in talks with Enzo Fernandez. And then there's the little bit at the bottom that says, hashtag MUFC haven't made a bid just yet. And that's about it. And I would expect quite a lot of that in January. Again, anything is possible when it comes to one person coming in. This, fabled loan that might present itself, this super cheap loan might become available. We don't know who it is, but as the time goes on, and we're not even in January yet. Flex, what's funny is January window hasn't actually started yet. I'm already kind of over it.
Yeah,
the Cody Gakpo thing hasn't even started yet because I've already resigned myself to the fact that we're probably not going to get anyone, and just trying to taper my expectations and at the same time remaining positive because I do like what I'm seeing on the pitch. I do like our manager and I do think we're heading in the right direction. Yes, I feel like maybe a lack of business in January may cost us, but at the same time, there is still a lot to be positive about. And as you mentioned, you can't fabricate and just make up what isn't there and what isn't happening. So we're going to be doing a match preview instead.
Yes, exactly. Agree with all of that. Big up to the members in the chat. I can see Ed in the chat, Tab is slow in the chat, and AJ as well, and Kristen as well in the chat as members. So big up to all you guys. And if you'd like to join the UV membership, remember you can do. The link is in the video description below. And Josh is in the comments as well. I don't know if he still is, but he was this morning. And here is good old Zayn Miasi, actually, right on cue.
Yeah,
get to the Zayn. Zayn says, Flex, the news is Arsenal are getting Felix and Mudryk, and we are top of the league. How will United cope with them and Saka when you come to the Emirates? Well, you're in a title race.
Is that actually true about them? Because, I mean, Mudryk, the last I saw is that Shakhtar went, we want 85 million. And that's a lot. They looked, ironically, this being a United channel, they looked at the Antony transfer in the summer and they said, we think he's about as good as Antony or maybe a bit better. So we want Antony kind of money. If that's the case, Zane, you've got to put the super chats in to, I don't know, like AFTV or something like that. We got to get that money towards Arsenal because they're going to need that money if you're going to be spending 85 million in January. Plus Felix, we know that even if that was a loan, that's going to cost you as a total package of around 20 million. So you're saying that Arsenal are going to spend 105 million in January? That would be a title push, wouldn't it?
That would
be a title push.
That would. But the way Arsenal are moving right now, I just don't even want to put anything past them because this is their best chance of.
You're saying they're going to spend over 100 million in January?
No, I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that. But I am not somebody to say this definitely won't happen or this definitely will happen.
Don't play the percentages. Don't play the percentages, Flex.
Learn from your past experience, yes. Owen. Yeah, just learn. Anyway,
does that mean you're accepting the judge? Does that mean you're accepting the judge?
I'm accepting not knowing what the hell's going on. Yeah. But then I accept the reverse judge as well. I accept the reverse judge as well, though.
But that's partially accepting that there is some kind of judgment going on.
Yeah,
there
I'll
is some
that.
kind of powers.
Yeah, I'll say that.
There is some kind of powers there. You don't know them fully yet. You're trying to learn how to control them. This is very much an origin story and an origin movie for Flex this season. He's accepted. Initially, he was in denial. For the first part of the movie, he's in denial. I don't know what you're talking about. Weird stuff is just happening. Second part of the movie, Act 2, he's going, I've got to come to some kind of acceptance, but I've now got to learn how to control these powers. And then Act 3 is when you've mastered the powers, like Doctor Strange, and you're fully, Sorcerer Supreme of the judgeness.
Yes, exactly. I was watching that on the plane. I was watching that on the plane, Doctor Strange. Really good.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think I finished it because I think we landed or something happened. But I was, he was doing loads of stuff. It started off with him and a girl.
The latest one.
And they she has something from back when or something, and he needs.
Did you get all of the? I mean, I'm assuming you probably didn't get all of the references because it was very much a sort of lots of different versions. Of course
I didn't. I just saw him doing all this stuff.
But you enjoyed the spectacle. You enjoyed the
spectacle. I liked it. I think he's a serious dude, man. He's got a lot of power.
Yeah,
I love that. And he was in big trouble, and he just sends his cape off. His cape just does its own thing.
Yeah,
it just becomes its own. Yeah, his cloak. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Do you like the big monster with the eye?
Yeah, the eye. Yeah, it was really good. It's really good. Really good.
More Flex reviews coming soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like Doctor Strange, actually. Good guy. Yeah. Good guy. Yeah. He's got good makeup as well. He's got good, they put good stuff on him. It's good.
Has he got makeup on? He don't have makeup on.
Not like face paint makeup, he's got, but I mean just like the way they've done is is it his beard and all of his
That beard's real.
Yeah, it's sharp. It's good.
Yeah, it's very crisp, isn't it?
Yeah. Sharp. Yeah. Weird, but Zamiasi also says Kroenke is worth 13 billion. He just bought a shopping complex for 300 million. This is spare change for him. Right.
Oh, they like Kroenke now. They like Kroenke now.
Exactly. Kroenke's in, they say now. Kroenke's in. Even Turkish likes Kroenke now.
Wow.
Wolves versus Man United. Let's get into it. Lisandro Martinez is back.
Yes.
He's back. Laurie Whitwell was saying, I think yesterday actually, that he'll be back and available for the Wolves game. He had one night of celebration in Buenos Aires. He skipped, I think it's Tagliafico's wedding, I think it was. He said, nah, mate, got to get back. And obviously a long flight back here as well. So it was just because of the long flight why he wasn't actually available against
Forest.
Our last game. Forest. Straight back in for you? Or some training and because he hasn't trained for has it been 2 weeks since the World Cup now, or doesn't?
I don't care.
How long has it been?
I don't care. Get him back in.
Whoa.
Varane did the same.
But what if he's a little bit tired? He just can't be on the bench and come on and play 15 minutes, Owen.
Lisandro Martinez does not get tired. Come on. We know he doesn't get tired. He did that. He goes back in. Varane goes back in. Varane, by the way, for someone that's got the fitness record that Varane does, for him to fly back and play 7 days after, or just a little bit longer after the World Cup, be the first person back to play a game and play, 70 minutes and not get injured. They've done something to him, Flex. He's different. He's reformed.
Owen.
He's reformed.
I remember me and you talking about this, and I said something about an injury thing. Was it after the Chelsea thing happened, though? I think it could have been. Or was it before?
But even the Chelsea injury, even the Chelsea injury he had, that wasn't his body broke down.
No, that was really unlucky.
It was unlucky. So
he jarred his knee in the turf.
Yeah. So Martinez and Varane both start. They have to build up that momentum once again, that partnership. They want to play alongside each other. Have you seen every time they interact, every time they see each other? After the final, they were hugging. They're always on social media saying what a pleasure it is to play alongside each other. So yes, they play. The question is, does Wan-Bissaka again play at right back? Inverted AWB.
I'm saying yes. United Live says he got injured in the World Cup final. He didn't. I was right in front of that.
It was exhaustion.
Literally
the fact he played in it was ridiculous because he was ill for 3 or 4 days and he went to extra time and collapsed essentially.
He was just he literally collapsed right in front of me, not in unconscious terms, but fatigue, exhaustion. And it was get him off. He's, and then he literally got up at the corner flag where it happened and went, right, I'm off. I think he knew he was coming off and he just put it in to concede that corner to make sure he defended properly. And then did that. I think he could have been Alexis McAllister, or was it someone really strong was there? And I was like, flipping heck, he's strong. And Varane just comes steaming in and just collapses and kicks the ball out. But anyway, So you're saying, yeah, them two straight away. Wan-Bissaka, well, I'm saying, yeah. I'm saying, yeah. He has to play. And you know what? It's so like interesting, isn't it, this Wan-Bissaka thing? And it does show you why, as football fans, you're not. I'm not saying everybody's wrong for having the opinion that they have. We're not even saying Ten Hag's wrong.
No.
But you have to rely on these guys at some point in the season. You can't just write people off completely. And I know it's been 2 games, but he can. This is what I mean. You can win a game with him playing. Do you know what I mean? Like it proves it. He can play.
It's funny,
Just
isn't it?
not
Because
all the time.
when we were sort of talking about him after the game and saying that, and look, you have to just judge what you've seen of that game. So you look at, say, the Burnley game, and you go, he played well. He got an assist. You look at the Forest game, you go, he played well. I mean, again, like we say it as a joke, but he was literally an inverted right back. I have not seen Aaron Wan-Bissaka do that. He had close ball control. I haven't seen that. No, I'm not saying he's totally, completely changed and suddenly he's become this amazing right back. I still believe Aaron Wan-Bissaka's quality is a mid to lower table Premier League right back. I don't think he's of the standard of Manchester United, and I do think come the summer, probably you'd look to replace him. If anything, we should kind of be celebrating this good form a little bit because we ain't getting anyone in January anyway.
Exactly. So fair play to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and exactly. And again, I don't think his long-term future is at United, but it's a positive that he's playing well, especially at a time where Dallow's not available. So Dallow's not playing. So we need who comes in to play well, and he's playing well. And I'm more confident with him in this form than I was previously. Again, at the same time, I still do think come the summer, especially with the ownership change, and you would think United going big, we'll probably get right back in the summer. I'm still pretty convinced of that.
Yeah. I think he's fortunate that I think, look, you still have to be alive to the opportunity, but he's fortunate that the process of doing things is going the way round that it is. Do you know what I mean? So, okay, it was a mixture of Ten Hag not rating him and obviously injuries and illness, which is why he's been out until now. Did he even play a game? Did he start against Brighton at home, Brentford away? I don't think he did he?
No, I think
he just wasn't in it from the start.
I think he might have come on as a sub in a Premier League game. I'm not sure which one. It might have been like Liverpool or something like that.
Yeah, but I think it was actually. Yeah, I remember that because he was just hacking it away.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah, it was. It was Liverpool. It could have been Arsenal. It was one of them two at home. I remember that. And he hasn't had any starts, has he? But so he was out of the fray. Whether it is, I saw him in the stands next to me in the press box more times than I saw him on the bloody pitch. No cap. But then he's kept himself, mentally ready, and he's obviously worked hard. He's clearly worked hard and just kept training at a decent level. So that as soon as he's been called upon, i.e., that injury came to Diogo Dalot, not in the form of playing every game for Man United, but going off to the World Cup and doing his hamstring in that last game against Morocco. We ain't seen him since then. The injury came, and he's ready. He's been ready. He's shown us in 2 games anyway that we can play with him. And I don't know if he does that to the end of the season. What? So he can't be the backup to Dalot again. Ten Hag will probably go. No. Do you think Ten Hag can change his mind? Let me ask you that. Do you think Ten Hag could go, actually, you know what? Fair play to this kid. I wrote him off as a backup whenever Diogo Dalot is not available, which he is 95% of the time. He's a machine. Let's not judge it, but he's very readily available. It's the first injury he's had in ages. He's a machine, Dalot. When I do need to lean on Wan-Bissaka for a game here or a game there, I don't mind that. Or it's when I do need to lean on someone else, I want them to have the attributes like the first guy has.
I think it's probably the latter, to be honest. I still do think we'll get right back. I think, again, you do have to credit Wan-Bissaka. He's playing well. You do have to also look at the opponents that we faced. It is Burnley. Exactly. It is Forest. It is Wolves. If we were playing Man City tomorrow, I'd be a lot more concerned of Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back.
Well, you know what he's like against. No, but you know what he's like against it. If you say to him, "Go and," that's when he shines. Though I tell you what, go and clamp Grealish. Make sure he don't get past you. Oh, make sure that
But even the goal that was conceded for VAR, I know it's technically offside. It was his man though. it was his man. So I think
the point here, Owen? Is this the point here?
Changed his mind on Dalot, so why not Wan-Bissaka? He wanted Dumfries in the summer. I think he still wants Dumfries, by the way.
Yeah, he wants every Dutchman.
Look, again, anything's possible. I think you would think this is really the last chance for Wan-Bissaka to prove himself. Let's not say that Erik ten Hag's mind can't be changed, because I think it can. And if Wan-Bissaka continues to form that he has been doing, who knows what could happen, right? If he continued this for the next however long Dalot's out, then maybe there is a question about when Dalot comes back. Oh, is he going to come back in? I don't know. You do feel, though, like tomorrow you could just get, oh, yeah, that's why. That's
at any moment.
It feels like that far away. But look, again, the last two games, I thought he played very well. And to the original question, the original point was, is he going to play tomorrow? And I think the answer is yes. And this is not going to be an easy game tomorrow, because the manager that they've got now, Lopetegui, that's a
terrible in his
manager.
last job towards the end. He was awful, but it's a new dawn. Isn't this their first home game with him actually in the dugout? The Arsenal one, he was in the stands.
He was in, I think it was a Carabao Cup match at home. I want to say, I think he might have already been in the dugout. Yeah.
Right. Let me look at that. But regardless of that, anyway, it is a new manager, and it's their first sort of, big game.
Yeah, it's Man United come to
lights. Yeah, it's at 12:30, but you get what I mean.
New Year's Eve, there'll be a bit of celebration.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was it. Wolves, Gillingham. Yeah, that was it. So they must have done that one. Exactly, and that's the thing for me. It's like, well, the Arsenal game they lost quite easily in the end, and he was in the stands. This is their next big test, in the Premier League, and they've just come off the back of a last-minute win. And again, I say it because it's actually we pretty much say it for every game because it's true, yeah. Because we're in this journey of this being true. This is another game where they're banana skins. This is another game where it's tough. I remember a little period with Ollie when Wolves first came up to the league. I hated going to Molineux. We just couldn't win for love nor money.
Yeah, we used to always play right at the start of the season, didn't we? Under Ollie, it used to always be like second or third game, and every single time it'd be a game where at the end of it you go, we wouldn't win, we draw something. You go, how on earth? Like, what happened there? Or just like a collapse. It'd always feel like there'd be a collapse.
Exactly.
And like I said, the record against Wolves is spotty.
It is, and I think if I remember the last two, so the last one last year, we just signed Ronaldo. But he wasn't there yet. But we knew we got him, and I think Mason Greenwood scored a deflected.
We scraped to win that one. That was at the beginning of the season.
Shot.
I remember the start of last season. Game. There were so many games that were like that.
Yeah, and I remember saying I remember leaving there saying, how on earth have Wolves not scored?
Yeah,
I think there was an amazing save from De Gea on the line from Saiss. I think Ruben Neves hit the post or something like that. They were all over us, and they just couldn't score. And then the year before that, it was near the end of the season. I remember Elanga scoring on the break.
Anthony.
Header and Anthony.
In that kit, I think the kit that you're wearing.
It was this kit. Yeah, it was this kit. And he played a few of the kids. Look at this. Flip says, Flex, you need a new United top man. No, I don't. This zebra one is for me, is goated. I love this kit.
You like that one, don't you? I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of it.
Hardly anyone was. Everyone hated this, but they did change their minds when it was on us with the black shorts, and etc. etc. But anyway, that's off topic. But our last couple of trips to Wolves have actually ended in wins. But it never ever is easy against them. Attacking line, I think Anthony will start the game, but I do. I feel like he's just on the edge of Ten Hag going, because you know what it is, Owen? Do you know the only reason why I think he's getting, there's a couple of reasons why I think he's getting this leniency. One, obviously, he's new, he's trying to find his feet. Two, the price tag, you know what I mean? And he's Ten Hag's guy. And three, there's something that I just feel like Ten Hag doesn't want to give Garnacho like too much like free reign yet. Don't get me wrong, when you keep playing well, you earn it, you keep your shirt, I get that. But I think with him, he would still like to, because when you read about it, it's like he wasn't really supposed to break through. They didn't expect him to do this. Yeah. And there's only so long you can hold back, real talent. I get it. But I just think Anthony's on the radar of, you need to start doing some more. We're not turning our back. This is really early. This guy, I think, will come good in the end. It's really early. But we've got games to win, and Ten Hag needs to play the informed people. I just think he gives Anthony probably one last start and says,
gives him a I like 65 and said,
it'll be first off. Yeah, like how he was. One of the first off yesterday or the other day. So she played really poorly as well. But I think he needs something, Anthony. He needs something at the moment because there's not really much options on the right hand side. Unless you put Rashford there and obviously put
Rashford
Garnacho
there. Rashford's playing well everywhere at the moment. So
everywhere. He's all right everywhere. Yeah.
I don't think it particularly matters at the moment.
What do you reckon? Again, he starts Garnacho?
No, probably not. I mean, I would probably prefer him to start Garnacho, but I don't think he will. Again, he does like continuity, and I think he will look at that first half in which we scored 2 goals and Anthony was on the pitch. So I think he'll look at that and say, actually, you know what? And for the second goal, Anthony makes the run that sort of distracts the defenders, which allows Martial to sort of hold his red edge of the box and take the shot. So he was somewhat involved off the ball for that goal, which I think Ten Hag would have probably looked at too. Yeah. So I agree with you that I think he will go Martial, Anthony and Rashford. But at the same time, I did like against Burnley, I liked Rashford on the right and I liked Garnacho on the left just because they were so direct. And I do feel like away from home, which we might have some more counter-attacking nuance to it. We might need just to be a little bit more direct. And again, I feel like here's one actually for you. Who do you think, if today you've got like a Premier League fullback, I can't remember who plays fullbacks for Wolves. You can let me know if you know.
But Semedo and Aït-Nouri.
So going up against those two, who would you prefer to go up against that? Who do you think can manage sort of the physicality of a Premier League fullback more, Anthony or Garnacho at this stage?
Well, Garnacho looks the one who would give the most problems, like you said, because he's direct. But I do think that's being...
It's almost like, even though Garnacho is more slight and a bit smaller than Anthony in terms of physically, I just feel like he's almost better suited already to be dealing with that physicality.
I think
he's less likely to be swallowed up. That's what I mean.
I don't even think it's about physicality. I think it's just about the way they attack. Yeah, it's just about directness. Anthony's not lightweight, like getting pushed off the ball and not physical enough. I don't see it as that. Like Stylord says there, Anthony has class work rate. I don't have any concerns about his intense. Actually, even concerns in general. This isn't a concern for the long lasting. This is just in the moment of picking a team now in form. He will be fine. But Anthony, he just wants the ball at feet more rather than in a channel running at someone. What I like about Garnacho is, which you can see already, is that he likes the ball when he's on the move, or give it to me in space. And as soon as I get it, I'm pushing it out my feet and I will go at this defender straight away. He went past someone like they weren't even there the other day. He just knocked it past him. I think he crossed it and we got a corner. But, you know, it was just really simple. I think someone gave it to him in the left wing and he just took a touch. Someone came over and he went, whoops, just went straight. But it was just, I think it was just a kick and run round. It's really easy. Yeah.
And in fairness, I remember Anthony doing that on one of the last games before the World Cup on the right-hand side. I forget who he was against, but he literally like flicked it past. It might even when we played Chelsea. But like he's had a couple of moments. He's had a couple of moments like that.
He does do that,
and that's when you want to see a bit more of him. You just like, I want to see that a little bit more. You know?
Exactly, and I think it's so early at the moment to kind of have a general consensus on Anthony because we're still working him out. You know, we can see a couple of little patterns. The little pattern I see is he'll want it to feet. He'll kind of be active with his feet, with the ball at his feet, quick, kind of stop, chop, and then keep possession, or stop, chop, and come in on his left foot and then set a guy. Doesn't really go right, but he's still working his way out. And actually, before he was doing the illness thing, so because he wanted to play for Brazil, let's just call that what it was. He was fine, in my opinion, anyway. Before that, he wasn't like we were like, oh, what's he doing? He ain't doing anything. He was quite active, wasn't he? He was all right. So
yeah.
You know, I just think it's been so refreshing with Garnacho.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think actually we shouldn't go one way or the other on either. We shouldn't be like all in on Garnacho. We can praise Garnacho and say how well he's done so far and how good he can be if he keeps developing at a good rate. But let's not. He's the answer to everything. He needs to start all the games. But also, let's not. Anthony, nah, he's not doing it. Let's just trust the players. And I think actually because the team is playing better, they're in positions to they got a platform there to go and do well. I think we've got enough consistent performers. You know, you look at Casemiro, you look at the centre backs at the moment. You look at Eriksen. I think people were saying, Cam, I think was saying like, in his match thing, in the player ratings the other day, he was like, yeah, if Eriksen keeps doing this, he's gonna have to, that's gonna come out because we're gonna need maybe Zidane.
I was really surprised when I saw that because I thought I didn't see that from Eriksen. He might have had a more quiet game than he usually does, but at the same time, you can't, as a Christian Eriksen, you can't have a 10 out of 10 every game because especially when you're the person beside you and Casemiro is having such a fantastic game, it might be a 6. But
he's the guy that does.
He's the guy over. You don't notice it.
Yeah, he's the guy that he's that player that his playing style literally is the one that you won't notice unless you are in tune to that. But he's the one who keeps everything ticking, man. I'm serious. I'm not just saying it because I love him so much and I rate him so highly, which I do. I'll call it out if I see him doing nothing, I don't. Yeah, if you want to take him off in the 75th minute because you want some more legs in there or whatever, no problem. But in terms of setting the tempo and keeping the ball and passing it properly, Ten Hag said it even the other day when they asked him, "Was you surprised with how quickly he settled down?" And he goes, "No, I know him very well. He passes between the lines. He sets the tempo. Both. Ten Hag knows. There's put it this way: It's not by accident. The same way how Casemiro is now the mainstay, same way how Lisandro Martinez is the mainstay, the same way all these deliberate decisions have been made with certain players who are doing well. There is no accident that Eriksen is a starter almost every single game."
Yeah, and also as well with Eriksen, even if he's not, massively, properly, influential in that game, and like you said, it is just touches, it is just short passes or whatever. Just that calming influence, that's enough because that spreads throughout the team. As we was talking about yesterday with the full view, knowing that Eriksen is beside you or in front of you or behind you is so reassuring because at any point, if I'm under pressure on the ball, I can give it to Eriksen and I don't have to be worried because I know he'll sort it out. I know he'll bail me out. Or I know he'll find the right pass. And just having that knowledge of you're not even actively thinking about it all the time. It's almost subconscious, just knowing, I know, like, I've got Casemiro and Christian Eriksen midfield. We're fine. That is going from, think of the upgrade. We were playing with McTominay and Fred
together in a base
for like 2 or 3 seasons. And now it's Casemiro and Christian Eriksen. Honestly,
when you actually say that sentence,
when you take a step back, you go, that is ridiculous. That is that.
And now they're saying, and now some people are not some opinions are, Eriksen's not really doing enough. Like maybe get like Fred next to Casemiro or McTominay next to Casemiro or Zidane Iqbal next to Casemiro. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Don't get me wrong. He's not always going to get an assist, and he did get an assist in that game. But he's not always going to get an assist or do something spectacular or score a tap in like he did against Burnley or whatever. But he scored 2 like that now. Who did he score the other one against? Fulham, was it? Who did he?
Who?
Eriksen. Yeah.
Yeah, Eriksen scored against Fulham, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, so he scored a tap in there. Was it a tap in? Yeah, it was.
It was, I think it was.
And then he should have scored the other one with his left foot, but didn't. And then, he's come back after the break, scored against Burnley. Then in the next game, he's assisted against Forest. So that's the last 3 games we've played, competitive. And he's doing the thing, isn't he? What do you want him to do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. And those games at Old Trafford, those big games at Old Trafford, I know this isn't really one of those games, but those big games at Old Trafford, Christian Eriksen's been brilliant this season. In those big games. Because I think back particularly to that Arsenal game, he was brilliant against Arsenal.
Yeah, he was.
He was absolutely really superb. And again, he's going to be massive player for us this season. He already is.
Yeah. Already has. And he was free. So you could argue he's been the best value out of all of them. Although the others, Martinez is amazing. Eriksen was still free. SK says, we'll have a soft spot for Wan-Bissaka. Remember when he was titanium? Thing is, other teams will pick up Gusto, Dumfries, and Frimpong, etc. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. There was a point where, Wan-Bissaka was really, he was like the flavor. It's like, no one's getting past him. He is the man,
Yeah.
And it kind of just changed. Shoals Music says, what do you think of Enzo? I do not want to spend 100 million on a player with 13 games for Benfica. International Cup can mislead. World Cup can mislead. See Rodriguez and Milan Barros. Yeah. Remember Rodriguez when he, after the World Cup for Colombia, innit? He was just...
Real Madrid?
Yeah. He was, and that was it. It kind of just went downhill from then, didn't it? Look, the Enzo thing... I've watched him a lot in the World Cup in person. Was really good. I did like him. But
It's laughable. It's laughable.
Yeah,
It is. I mean, whenever that should be, whenever you see a report that says Manchester United are willing to spend 100 million on Enzo Fernandez, that should immediately, raise the alarms of the bullshit meter, because you just know, well, that can't be true. Because if Manchester United are saying we can't afford 37 million for Cody Gakpo, we can't afford a sort of even the loan fee of like 8 million for João Felix, then where on earth are we going to get 100 million pounds from for Enzo Fernandez in this window? In the summer, you never know. United do go big in the summer. You're going to have new owners by then, seemingly. Who knows what the financial situation might be like? We might go crazy. We might go absolutely insane in the summer. So I wouldn't rule that out. But as of right now, and you're talking about Chelsea are holding talks and Liverpool might be interested, we are not spending 100 million on one player. We ain't even spending 100 million in general. We're not spending half of that. We're not even spending a quarter of that. We're spending 0% of that, because that's how much we have. So the Enzo Fernandez one, I agree. Good player, exciting player. Would be interesting to see how the second half of the season goes from at Benfica. I think, a wise club would sort of say, well, let's see. He had a good World Cup.
100%. Just to go splashing in straight away.
Yeah, but the clubs, look, a lot of the big clubs, particularly in the Premier League right now, are desperate for central midfielders. Liverpool are in for one. Chelsea are in for one. We know that we want one as well. That's three big teams all looking around. You would think Newcastle, they've been linked to Enzo Fernandez as well. So that sort of pool of midfielders are going to get snapped up at some point. So
linked to James Maddison.
Maddison, Saido, Fernandez. They're all, you would think, probably going to be at different clubs by the start of next season. But as far as that being done in January, I just think it's wild to think that a club would spend 100 million pounds in January on one player. Have we ever seen that? I mean, you can let us know in the live chat. It's very atypical, isn't it?
When did Coutinho go? Didn't he go in January?
Might have been. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Sure he did.
That's how the Van Dijk thing happened,
wasn't it? Barca came in for him 120, didn't they?
That was true.
But a Premier League club doing it. Yeah, I saw him kind of defending himself on Instagram the other day, just saying, I do want to be here. But they got a new manager now, so you see what Unai Emery does with him. Kevin Mitchell, big up for the super chat, says, Flex, what happened to your man, James Cooper? Yeah, James Cooper was senior reporter at Sky for like 17, 18 years, man. Top guy. I spoke to him. When did I speak to him? I spoke to him for a while, but when I last did, he was doing some stuff on the Premier League, Premier League productions, which we don't actually get in this country. I know a lot of you guys watching from outside of the UK will have Premier League production stuff. So let me know if you've seen James on there recently. And actually, I'll drop him a message. Actually, wish him happy New Year and see. Yeah, he is an OG, really, really OG. Okay, so to finish off. Team as we expect, but with Martinez back in, are we saying? And Anthony to start again. Are they the only changes? Not change, not changes, but the only things to highlight.
So it'd be De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka right back, Martinez, Varane.
Luke Shaw, Malacia.
I think Luke Shaw probably going.
Yeah.
To be fair, he played really well at centre back.
Unbelievable.
He played really, really well. Again, it's fortunate the opponent you go up against, I think, worked out quite well for him, but played very well. And it just goes to show, isn't it? Again, with the Maguire thing, when you do have a centre back that is so calm on the ball, it's a difference. Not to say that Maguire isn't, but there's sort of Luke Shaw's better on the ball. He's a better technical footballer than Harry Maguire is. And it's just that little bit different. Same with Casemiro against Burnley. You've got someone that's a good technical footballer. That's what Martinez does. It really is the difference. So Shaw at left back, midfield, Casemiro, Eriksen.
Will be the same.
In front of them, then you'd have Anthony, I think probably on the right will start. Bruno, who was actually really good against Forest, didn't get anywhere near enough credit, I thought, for his performance, just because he doesn't get an actual assist, a registered assist.
And he should have got 3.
Yeah, I saw a thing earlier on today, actually, and there was like a clip of how many chances he's made for people this season, and they've not got in. There's like at least sort of 10.
Created the most chances in the league. Created the most.
Literally. And I think sometimes because we get so, and I do this as well, so I'll hold my hands up. We get so fixated on the Hollywood pass that doesn't come off that we forget like the 5 or 6 that do. And we go, that one pass, I want perfection. You go, actually, he's created like 3 or 4 chances in the game. The scrutiny should be on the attackers missing the chances, not Bruno creating them. And just because at the end of the game, you go, oh, he got no assists. You go, well, he should have had 3 or 4. I'm sure because if he could put them in, he would, but he can't.
It's because we're low scorers. We've scored 23 goals in the league. Haaland's got 20 himself. That's insane, isn't it? he's nearly scored the same as what our whole team scored. But that's the thing. But look where we are in the league. We're doing all right. So because we're keeping clean sheets, and we're not conceding a lot, like we used to. How many have we conceded? We've conceded 20. Sorry, we've conceded 20, which is why our goal difference is only obviously 3. But
we've conceded 20. Did you say?
I believe so.
Because that would mean that half of our goals conceded came in 2 games. Brentford and
City. Actually,
so again,
which is
it
brilliant.
Goes to show,
didn't even think about that. Yeah,
goes to show actually we're not conceding loads of goals every game. It's actually just those 2 games really spiked things. Half of our goals were conceded in 2 games.
That's very true. So really, obviously, you can't say it, but the other 10 is spread out across 13 games.
Yeah, which is about average.
Yeah, which because say we would have lost that 1-0 instead of 4, and we would have lost, 2-0 instead of 6. What was it, 6-3 or whatever?
Yeah. But this is what I mean. I think there is when you look at the results, you look at, was it 1 defeat in 14 or something like that, or however much it is. Like there's room to be positive about United. I don't understand sometimes. Maybe it's just social media. I think if you go on there too long, you're going to get swallowed up in negativity nowadays. But there's sometimes this sentiment, oh, wow, we're still 5th in the league. And you go, yeah, but if you look at the table and games in hand, you'd rather have games on the board than games in hand. I understand that. But playing all right, scoring goals. That 3-0, that went away to helping out the goal difference. This is a game you have to win. And I would expect if it was Chelsea, Liverpool.
3 against Villa it was,
3 against Villa, exactly. If you and that's the thing too. Like when we lose, we just end up getting battered. You don't lose 1.
There's no in between. We haven't lost the game close, have we?
No, exactly.
It's all or nothing. But there's only been 3 of those.
No, exactly.
4. No, how many? 4 of those.
The only game that we lost by like 1 goal was Brighton. That was the Brighton one, wasn't it? Where it was like,
I forget they scored an own goal. I forget that. But it felt like 2-0. It was rubbish.
Yeah, but to back to my point, I think that if this was any of our rivals facing Wolves tomorrow, going to Wolves, yes, you would say it's a difficult game, but you would expect them to win, wouldn't you? You'd expect 100%. Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea to win. So,
Spurs, you might go on. They might draw that. They're so rubbish.
Well, they'll go 3-0 down and win 4-3 or something like that.
Or at least
that's what Spurs. That is ridiculous at this point, isn't it?
I know. I hope they just come on. But they are dropping points. They did.
It's not sustainable though. We know that as United fans.
We're already closer to them because of it.
That happened to us a few seasons ago, wasn't it? Where we kept going 1-0 down or kept going 2-0 down. You come back 2-2 or 3-2. And yes, it's euphoric. But then when you take a step back after the game, you go, this is not sustainable because you can't come back. You can't come back every single time. So, well, like you said, we're getting closer. And tomorrow, as Marcel would say, points to be won.
Yeah, points to be won. I think tomorrow will be, again, I know we always say it off with every away win because at Old Trafford, for the first time in a while, I feel quite comfortable about us. Now. Even to the point where when the big games come, I just fancy us to just turn up anyway. Can always lose, but just to turn up. And now we're sort of dispatching of teams where we think we should dispatch of them if we play to our maximum ability. But it's the away ones, when we rocked up at Villa. I know
that's the one. Game. We went into that confident, didn't we? And then we just 20 minutes in with 2-0 down.
The Fulham game, we went 1-0 up and we looked like we were kind of cruising. Probably should have scored a couple more. Didn't. Goes to 1-1 and we're hanging on. Dan James came on.
We were terrible.
Awful. Dan James came on tour as a new one. We was struggling, and then a little bit of magic from Garnacho, and we just about got through. So away, we've Leicester, we just about got through. Southampton, we just about got through.
Yeah.
Other away wins have there been?
You played a load of away games.
We played a load of away games, yeah.
No,
lost
Chelsea.
Chelsea,
we should have won. We should have won. For 30 minutes, we dominated them and we weren't clinical. Yeah. That's the key thing actually tomorrow, is you will say, say we start the game really fast, which sometimes we do now. We can start games pretty quickly, and we have that sort of 15, 20-minute domination. Got to be clinical. Got to go 1-0 up. Got to go 2-0 up. And in fairness, against Forest, we did do that. We got our goals fairly early, and it was 2-0 by half time. And you'd go, that's near enough, game over. And the second half, we kind of took our foot off the gas a little bit, and maybe a better team would have come back into it. But particularly away from home, particularly, as you said, new manager, crowd will be up. It's United in town, so it's one of the biggest games of the year. If you get that early goal, 10, 15 minutes in, they'll just go, we are down lower in the table for a reason, and here we go again, sort of situation. You can't allow the crowd to get into it. You can't allow because that, again, against Villa, that's what we didn't do. We didn't have the
100%.
opportunities, but it was a
Didn't
new
assert ourselves
manager.
from minute one. We didn't
Yeah, it
assert
was a new
ourselves.
manager, first home game, and they got into it. The crowd were up; they were into it straight away, and yeah, and we just didn't effectively manage that game at all.
No.
And then even when we did get kind of back into it just before half time, second half was exactly the same. Just completely allowed the crowd and allowed the momentum to sort of sweep all over us, and we didn't respond to it. So I think Ten Hag would be looking at that kind of game management and that kind of managing of the crowd and the atmosphere, which is really important for a big team.
We have to do it.
To a smaller team, you have to manage the game effectively.
We have to do it, and we haven't. And I think Everton was another close game as well. We're 1-0 down from the Iwobi thing from Casemiro giving it away.
Yeah.
Then he gets us back into it, and then obviously when Ronaldo scores as well.
But we did manage that game effectively, didn't we? Because we silenced the
after
crowd.
That,
we
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just, we haven't won any of these games, I would say, super comfortably. That's probably the most, in terms of seeing it out. But it's just tough, isn't it? That we've got those away games are the ones where we, like I said, they're banana skins. The crowd are up, and we have to score in the moments. We've got to score, and we're on top. Because, like I said, Wolves ain't going to be easy tomorrow. I don't think.
No,
I really don't.
Think so.
And I know we say that about every single game we play. This team's
what
not
do you
easy.
What do you say about Martial? Because of course, Lopetegui was the manager at Sevilla, and Lopetegui had some things to say about Martial, didn't he? Saying that actually, it was a bit of a mistake, and he literally played. I remember his first game for Sevilla. I didn't watch it, but I saw the comments afterwards when basically him sort of saying he's got to do a lot more. He's got to run around. He's got to do something.
And then he got injured as well.
Yeah, and then he got injured and he didn't even play that much. But the point is that he had some stuff to say. Now, Martial this season, of course, he still has yet to complete 90 minutes. And I don't think he'll complete 90 tomorrow. He'll come off.
Do you know
before?
What do you think? Because they're still making sure they just keep him or just...
He said after the game, Ten Hag, I think it was on the...
He said he was saving him for today.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Someone asked him, what's the fitness with Martial? And he said, he is fit. He just went, but we got a game in a couple of days and I want him, he has to play. So I want to make sure that he
that's
plays.
What I'm saying. So that's just making sure, like, once we're in a decent position in the game, or maybe even if it's still 1-1 or 0-0 or something, it's just important that he's there for the next game.
I mean, we've got a game 3 days after that, isn't it, against Bournemouth? So it's the same principle whereby he'll look at it and go, if he plays 70 minutes, he'd be like, right, he's got to come off. Why? Because I can't risk 20 minutes, an extra 20 minutes, and he's got to be there for the next one. So I don't think he'll play 90 minutes. If his record continues, he's either going to score or get an assist, because that's what the Martial record this season, again, for a guy that hasn't played 90 minutes, it's incredible. It really is incredible. And to be honest, you wouldn't put it past him scoring tomorrow. And to be honest, even against Forest, he didn't actually even do that much. He wasn't a couple of times in the game. Me and KG watching the match view, and KG went, I forgot Martial was playing. Yeah. And then, he scores, and that's about it. His hold up play is good. So I think he might have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder tomorrow. Be like, I'll show Lopetegui, tell him that I was finished and all that kind of stuff. And just in general, he's got a point to prove for the second half of the season, because he wants to show everyone that he's not this massive sick note, which he kind of is. That's why he's not playing 90 minutes. He's going to be important.
Do that. He's got to undo that confidence and a run of games, and just that, that muscle memory, just building it back, building him up to game speed. With the games actually coming thick and fast, is actually a good thing, as long as he's managed well, which he is.
I mean, just the comment you said there was saying that he's been managed well. I think that for such a long time, we've criticised the United fitness department and medical team, haven't we? But if you look at Varane, and I know this is a massive jinx, so I'll touch the wood around me here. But look at how they have managed Varane. Look, I mean, what happened to him in pre-season? He did. You were there.
Don't talk about it.
You were there, Flex. You were there, so you got a bird's eye view of this. You were there in person. You watched it with your very two eyes. That he did like 2 training sessions, got injured, and then Ten Hag went, can't have that. And then he sort of disappeared, didn't he, for like a week? And everyone went,
we were like,
what's going on?
Maybe Ten Hag don't fancy him.
Fourth choice for Varane. Imagine that. 4th choice for Varane, we were saying at the time. And in reality, it was Ten Hag and the medical team going, right, you get injured all the time. So what we're going to do is give you an individual program. We're working your way into this team, into this squad. And since then, it really has only been the Chelsea injury. And again, that was kind of ones that can just happen on the pitch. How they've managed to sort of turn him around physically and from an injury point of view is very, very good. Now, it didn't work out with Martial, and I think they've had to really take a step back and manage him. And here's hoping that it leads to an improved fitness. I mean, even when I think the last couple of times that he's got injured, particularly like the last time, they took an age bringing him back. And I think there was a real plan behind that, because you went to, it was one of the press conferences, wasn't it? And he was just training by himself, and he looked like he was ready to go, but clearly they were being really, really
training by
cautious.
himself. That was, I think it was Sociedad before Sociedad at home.
Yeah.
To win. No, sorry,
Away.
Or was it Sharif? No, it was one of the home games. I was at Carrington and I saw him training by himself.
Yeah.
So it must. Who was the last home game we had in that group? Was it Sharif? Or was it
I'm just trying to think.
No, Ammonia was 1-0. Sancho. Sociedad, we lost for 1-0 in the first game. So yeah, it must have been Sharif.
Yeah, Sharif. And again, by that point, I think he probably technically could have played those last 2 weeks that he didn't play, but it was very clearly that this pure abundance of caution. They're like, we are not rushing him back. We are having his own thing. So again, here's hoping that he can maintain that level of fitness. He has to, because we don't have another striker, and we ain't getting another striker. So it really is all hopes on Martial, which, when you do think about it, is kind of insane, because edging your bets on someone that you know is going to get injured is kind of wild. But that's the situation that we're in.
Yeah, it is. Smash a like on the video, peeps. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Great morning show. A little bit different. A little bit of a live match preview. Actually, let us know if you like these. Let us know if you like, these live match previews in the morning, 9 a.m. Let us know in the comments. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments after the video's finished as well, because I enjoyed that. Get to talk about quite a lot, as well as the game as well. I think that went quite well. Sometimes got to mix things up a little bit. So let us know how you guys feel about that as well. Match day tomorrow. We will be me and Owen will be doing that. And we'll have
KG's abandoned us.
Well.
He's abandoned us. He's left us. He's a disgrace. He's a cheat. He rang me yesterday, and I missed the call. Which is rare, because if you don't pick
you're
up
a disgrace and a cheat.
Well, if you don't pick up, you're just not going to speak to him otherwise, because he's very much he's the Loch Ness monster. He will only raise his head up on occasion, and you have to get him. And if you don't get him,
the thing about KG was so funny. Yeah?
You can't get hold of him.
I added him to a new group chat that we needed to set up, right? And he hasn't seen it. I was looking at it it's got like read, all the people that have read it, and it's got KG just delivered by himself in one bar. But this guy is on Twitter, on his phone, saying, my wife got me a virtual reality set. It's like Star Wars. I feel like a Darth Vader. I mean, a Skywalker. A what do you call them? A Jedi. I feel like one of them. Get it, guys. But he's on there giving reviews on the latest VR headset, but he can't respond.
Well, he's one of these people. He's one of these people that, and everyone's got these kind of friends in their life whereby they're impossible to get a hold of, or you send messages to and they never respond. But when you see them, they are always on their phone. KG never doesn't have his phone like this far away from him. It's always there. And he's always, like you said, messing around, opening it up. So he just doesn't like to talk to us.
But to be fair to him, he is clear. He doesn't go on WhatsApp. He doesn't like it.
But that is
if you text him on the normal old school SMS, the old school SMS. If you text him on that.
I've tried that, but
they
just don't want to talk to me, Flex. That's that. I mean, there is no.
He is hitting no excuse. The messages. You just got to ring him.
You can't say just like, "Well, what am I like?" You go, "Well, no, you got your phone in your pocket. It's rude. It's rude. It's rude, KG." But I've got better. I just call him now.
You just call him and you get straight through. Anyway, guys, smash a like on the video, and we'll see you tomorrow with more content. Match day, big game at Molineux. Peace.